I originally made this video a lot earlier, but unfortunately, thank you, Warner Brothers, you blocked a video on a movie that I was praising nonstop and only used footage of your trailer. So yeah, screw you, Warner Brothers, for blocking my original video. So I'm gonna pull a screw and just re-release a review on Sinners because it's horror related. And you know what? This is a movie that deserves to be seen and watched by everyone, including to one of my friends that absolutely hates horror movies, will never watch a horror movie except maybe a few of them. I'm going to say, yeah, you're missing out, because if you have not seen this movie, all I'm going to say is you are in for a thrill ride, a trip, and just an all-around, like, it is. I just got to get into it because holy crap, this movie is damn near actually, it is flawless in my opinion. This is a movie I really thoroughly enjoy, and whenever I buy movies, I only buy movies that I know for a fact that I'm gonna rewatch them. This movie I've rewatched so many times this year, and I picked up so much. Like I said in my Barbarian review, there is so many messaging here, so many deeper meanings that is very rewarding on repeat viewings that I recommend the channel Dead Meat, because they go deeper into this movie than I ever could. But holy crap, this movie is really good. I think part of the reasons why I love this movie so much is that it's not just a straight up horror movie. So don't let the advertisements fool you into thinking this is a scary movie. This movie is set in the past, in the early 30s, and it is really cool how they just like meticulously just historically went back from the costumes, the way they talk, the way there are so many subtle things just with how racial, segregation was handled, how relationships were handled. I mean, it was so meticulously, well thought out that it makes for a really rewarding movie when you rewatch it over and over again, because you'll pick up on so many little things. On top of that, it's not just, like I said, it's not just a straight up horror movie. There is I feel like the best way I can explain this movie is that first half is all set up on all the characters. It's mostly drama. You get a brief moment where the villain is introduced, and you do get some of the horror elements in there. But then once you get to the jukebox, or the juke joint, I just said jukebox. Once you get to the juke joint that the whole movie was setting up, you just get some phenomenally great, fantastically sung moments from this new young actor that really knocks it out of the park. I will be damned if he does not get an Oscar. Same with Michael B. Jordan, because even though he played two characters, I honestly thought he played them with such perfection. Even in the behind the scenes footage that I watched of this, I seriously expected his other twin to pop up, but then I was just like, oh right, he played two of the characters. So that is just a testament on how talented he truly is. And just Ryan Coogler in general, he makes some damn good movies. And this one is his best. So yeah, you get some phenomenally sung moments and just a knockout performance and sung sequence that was shown beautifully in IMAX. Yes, this is another IMAX movie that I watched and rewatched. Since this movie is releasing in October, I highly recommend you go check it out before that October run ends, especially if you can afford it and it's accessible. See it in IMAX. It's really cool. Don't let the fact that it's being framed as a horror movie, deter you from seeing it. There is so much more to this movie than you might think. So yeah, on top of it being a musical, a drama, mostly a thriller, in the end, I feel like by the end of the movie, you do get more kind of campy thrills. It gets kind of nutty near the end. But it is all just really cool action stuff. I felt like the ending is more action-oriented than horror. It does get bloody, it does get gruesome at times, but And it does get even kind of horrifying. There is even, in my opinion, one of the best framed jump scares I've seen in a horror movie where one character, she's walking away, and a character in the background, who is a vampire, he just silently and lightly floats up, and then a character then goes ahead and starts singing, and it jumps to the next scene. And it kind of made me jolt out of my seat because it just happens so fast, and it's done really well. There is some weird sex stuff happening in this movie, but some of it is kind of humorous at times and a bit odd. But that's not really the whole point of the movie. The whole point of this movie is just like the characters, the story they're telling. I mean, there is so much here that is really, really neat and really rewarding to rewatch. And I mean, when I say rewatch, I mean that in the best way possible because I've seen this a lot already. I already bought the movie on disc. I might watch it tonight because it is just such a good movie. It's so good. I can't possibly think of a better movie that released this year. On top of the very rich thematic and just really good overall allegory between like vampires and how people were back then, like on top of that, the movie is just very beautifully, fire's dying, I'm gonna have to restart it a little bit, but on top of that, it is just beautifully shot and filmed. Now, I'm glad that they did keep the IMAX scenes intact. I have this movie on disc, or hell, if you watch it on streaming, I'm sure, hopefully, they expanded the ratio a little bit during a lot of these sequences. Because, oh my god, that this movie deserved those expanded ratio, because it was really cool in theaters. And the movie is just funny, but the humor is kind of just second to overall the story. Like, the characters, the stories they tell, they're all very... I feel like this is almost like, because so much is already built up in this story, it's almost like a season finale of something. Or like you're just jumping in, like you just know these characters. The exposition's done so well that it just feels natural. It doesn't feel unnatural. They don't spell out who they are or anything like that. You learn these things from the characters, and they share their stories in such a cool way. Particularly the vampire villain, he shares his version of a story that's really thematically really rich and deep and complex, that really explores just like community and it is really, really cool. But overall, if you're expecting a horror movie, you'll get horror elements, but I'd say arguably this is more thriller, and I love that genre building, because even the first time watching it in theaters, I was just like, I think this was framed as a horror movie. There was like one jump scare, admittedly kind of cheap in the beginning, but after that, the whole movie, I'd say like the first 30, 40 minutes are like all set up, and then it just really goes from there, and then it just kind of flips on a switch to like an all-around kind of horror thriller movie. I feel like right in the middle, once the vampire stuff starts going down, you get more of that horror elements, but then right near the end, you get more action, campy thrills that's kind of an all-around good time. Anyway, I have so much more to say about this movie, but so little time because I gotta get out and stack some wood, unfortunately, because the weather is getting cold. And I want to get started on that, and that's gonna take a majority of my day. But overall, this movie is pretty good. I love this movie. I adore it. I will continue to rewatch it till the end of time. I will show my kids this movie. I will show my future wife this movie, because this is a movie that deserves to be seen by everyone. Whether you're a fan of horror movies, a non-fan, this is a movie that deserves to at least be watched once, if not multiple times. Anyway, take it easy. Happy Halloween. That's about it. See ya.